Do you ever wake up feeling tired of everything, the same streets, the same faces, the same routine, and wonder when you stop truly living? This story, set in Denmark, will remind you how even simple English words can bring the light back to your eyes. Morning silence in Copenhagen. Copenhagen wakes up slowly. The streets are still quiet, the air is cold, and the light from the winter sun crawls gently across the rooftops. Anna stands by her window, holding a cup of coffee that's already gone cold. She watches the world move, bicycles rushing by, children laughing in Danish, buses breathing clouds of steam, but inside, she feels still. Too still. Every morning feels the same. The same breakfast, the same walk, the same polite nods at the bakery. Life is neat, peaceful, and painfully predictable. Her apartment is clean, her job is stable, and yet, something inside her is missing. She doesn't know what it is, but she feels it every time she looks into the mirror and sees eyes that no longer shine. That it's strange, isn't it? You can live in one of the happiest countries in the world and still feel lonely. You can have everything and still feel nothing. That's the quiet sadness Anna carries with her each morning, the kind that doesn't scream, but whispers, "This is all there is." When she walks to work, she listens to English podcasts. Slow ones. The kind made for beginners. She doesn't understand everything, but she loves the sound of the language, soft, round, alive. Sometimes, she repeats the words under her breath. Hope. Morning. Light. The words sound beautiful but distant, like stars she can't quite reach. Anna once dreamed of traveling, of speaking English fluently, of feeling confident enough to talk to anyone. But now, her dreams feel like a story she told herself long ago. She still studies a little, an app here, a YouTube video there, but most days, she just listens in silence. That morning, as she stood by the window, something in her heart whispered quietly, "There must be more than this." But she didn't know that this small, silent thought, this gentle ache, would be the beginning of everything, because sometimes, change begins not with a loud decision, but with a quiet feeling that refuses to die. The weight of routine. Anna's life runs like clockwork, precise, efficient, and utterly predictable. She wakes up at 7, bikes through the crisp Danish air, and arrives at the same gray office near Nyhavn. The smell of coffee fills the air, the sound of keyboards becomes the soundtrack of her life. People smile politely, say, "Good morning," and then disappear behind screens. It's calm. It's organized. It's empty. Sometimes she wonders if she's invisible, a quiet figure blending into the rhythm of a city that doesn't stop to look back. Every hour feels like a copy of the last. Even the rain seems scheduled, falling at the same time every Thursday. You know that feeling, right? When every day looks exactly like yesterday, and you start to forget why you're doing any of it. It's not that life is bad. It's just hollow. There's no spark, no newness. Your heart feels like it's been running on low battery mode for too long. At lunch, Anna sits by the window, watching people laugh outside. Tourists with cameras. Students talking in English, loud and free. She wants to join them, to say something, anything, but her mouth stays shut. The words don't come. Her English feels trapped behind a wall of fear and self-doubt. She remembers her teacher once said, "Practice a little every day." So she does, but without joy. Just repeating words, like checking boxes on a to-do list. Hello. My name is Anna. How are you? The words are perfect, but lifeless. Psychologists call it emotional fatigue, when your brain gets tired not from working hard, but from living without meaning. You stop dreaming because dreams require energy, and you've spent yours just surviving the routine. That's what routine does to people. It gives them comfort, but steals their wonder. It makes life smooth, but flat. Like listening to your favorite song every day until it becomes noise. That evening, Anna walked home slower than usual. The city lights reflected on the wet pavement, and she caught her own reflection in a shop window. For a brief moment, she whispered, "I wish I could change something." She didn't know it yet, but that small wish was about to find an answer in the most unexpected way. The stranger at the bus stop. It was a gray morning in Copenhagen, the kind where the clouds hang so low they almost touch your hair. Anna had missed her usual bus because her bike chain broke halfway down the street. She stood at the bus stop, cold hands tucked into her coat pockets, watching her breath fade in the air. The city was half asleep, quiet except for the sound of rain tapping on the shelter roof. That's when she noticed him, an old man sitting on the bench, wearing a blue scarf and holding a newspaper that looked older than him. His eyes were kind, the kind that seemed to smile before his mouth did. When their eyes met, he said softly, in English, "Cold morning, isn't it?" Anna hesitated. English. She hadn't expected that. But somehow, she replied, "Yes, very cold." Her voice was shy, but her heart beat fast, not from the weather, but from fear of making mistakes. The old man smiled. "You speak English." "Very good." Anna laughed nervously. "A little. I try." "Trying," he said, "is already a beautiful thing." There was something gentle about his tone, slow, deliberate, like every word carried warmth. They talked about simple things, the weather, the broken bicycle, the smell of fresh bread from the bakery across the street. It wasn't much, but for Anna, it felt like breathing fresh air after years in a small room. She told him she was learning English, but sometimes felt too tired, too stuck to keep going. He nodded slowly and said, "I lived here for 40 years, but I still learn new Danish words every week." Language is not a test, it's a friend you visit. That line stayed with her. Language is not a test, it's a friend you visit. Before the bus arrived, he pulled out a small notepad and wrote something down. "Here," he said, handing it to her. "For you." On the paper were 3 words, written in clear, careful letters: hope. Light. Again, Anna smiled, holding the note as the bus doors opened. "Thank you," she whispered. The old man nodded, eyes twinkling. "You'll understand them soon," he said. As the bus drove away, Anna looked at the note again. The rain blurred the ink slightly, but the words still glowed softly on the paper, like a quiet promise that something inside her life was about to change. A lesson in simple English. That evening, Anna couldn't stop thinking about the old man's words. Language is not a test, it's a friend you visit. She kept reading the little note he gave her. Hope. Light. Again. Simple words, yet they felt heavy with meaning. At home, she sat by the window with her laptop open, a candle flickering beside her. Outside, Copenhagen glowed softly under the streetlights, bicycles gliding past, footsteps echoing against the cobblestone. Everything looked calm, yet inside her, something new was stirring. She searched those 3 words online. Hope. Light. Again. Each had simple definitions, easy vocabulary, A1 level, something a beginner could learn in seconds. But when she listened to the pronunciation videos, something happened. The voices were slow, kind, human. Hope, the speaker said gently. Anna repeated it. Hope. Her voice trembled a little. It wasn't just a word. It was a feeling. She imagined the old man's calm eyes, his warm tone, and realized, learning English wasn't about perfect grammar. It was about connection. About seeing beauty in small, simple words that carry emotion. Words that don't just describe life. They touch it. She opened a fresh notebook and wrote, Hope. When you believe the light will come, even if you don't see it yet. Light. What fills your eyes when your heart remembers how to dream again? Because life always gives another chance. As she wrote, she felt something shift. For the first time in months, she wasn't just studying English, she was feeling it. The rhythm of each word, the softness of their sounds, the way her tongue moved. It was music she could finally hear. Language teachers often say we remember better when we connect emotionally. It's true. Our brains hold on to words that make us feel. And that night, Anna's brain and heart worked together. Quietly, gently, like 2 old friends meeting again. Before going to bed, she whispered to herself, I want to see the light in my eyes again. And as she turned off the lamp, she didn't know that her wish was already coming true, not through big success or sudden luck, but through the quiet power of 3 simple English words. The little notebook. The next morning, Anna woke up with a strange sense of purpose. For the first time in a long while, she didn't just go through the motions, she noticed things. The smell of coffee. The soft drizzle outside. The sound of her neighbor's dog barking. Everything felt alive again, as if her senses had finally returned from a long sleep. Before leaving for work, she picked up her small notebook, the one she had written in the night before. On the cover, she wrote one simple sentence, my English, my light. From that day on, Anna made a quiet promise to herself. Every morning, she would write 3 English sentences. Not perfect ones. Not long ones. Just honest ones. At the office, during her lunch break, she opened the notebook and wrote slowly, Today, I feel calm, the rain is soft. That I am learning again. Her handwriting was shaky, but the feeling was steady. It wasn't about studying, it was about showing up. And that made all the difference. At first, her colleagues thought she was just journaling. But what she was really doing was rewiring her brain, teaching it to find meaning in small moments. Neuroscientists call it microprogress. Every small act of growth gives the brain a tiny shot of dopamine, the chemical of motivation. Anna didn't know the science behind it, but she felt it. Each time she wrote a new sentence, she smiled. Each time she looked back at her words, she felt proud. Days passed. Her notebook began to fill with pieces of her daily life, describing the smell of bread at the bakery, the color of the sky after rain, the laughter of children in the park. All in simple English, and the more she wrote, the more she noticed. English was no longer a foreign language. It was becoming part of her inner world, the quiet voice that narrated her life. One evening, sitting by the window, she whispered to herself in English, "I'm not stuck. I'm just starting again." The words weren't perfect, but they were true. And that truth, fragile, brave, and small, was the first real light she had seen in a long time. When words become courage. Weeks passed, and Anna's little notebook grew thicker. Each page carried her thoughts, some messy, some neat, all honest. But something else was changing, too, her confidence. It didn't arrive like a thunderstorm. It arrived quietly, like the morning light that slowly fills a dark room. One afternoon, while waiting in line at the bakery, Anna overheard two tourists speaking English. They were trying to order pastries but couldn't pronounce the Danish names. The cashier looked confused. Normally, Anna would stay silent, afraid her accent might sound strange, afraid she'd say something wrong. But that day, her heart whispered, "Try." She smiled and said, in simple English, "I can help you." The tourists turned to her with relief. "Oh, thank you. We didn't know how to say it." Anna explained the names slowly. "This one is cinnamon roll. That one is with custard." Her voice trembled at first, but as the words left her mouth, she felt something warm spreading through her chest. Pride. The tourists thanked her. The cashier smiled. And for a moment, Anna's whole world felt lighter. It wasn't about grammar. It wasn't about perfect pronunciation. It was about courage, the quiet, invisible kind that shows up when you speak even when your voice shakes. That evening, she added a new sentence to her notebook. "Today, I spoke English with courage." She looked at that line for a long time. It was short, but it carried the weight of a mountain. In psychology, they call this the confidence loop. When you take a small risk and it goes well, your brain remembers it, and becomes braver next time. That's what happened to Anna. Each little English word became a tiny act of bravery. Soon, she started whispering English to herself while walking or cooking. "I can do this. I'm learning every day. My words are growing stronger." And with each sentence, her voice grew steadier, her heart warmer. Sometimes courage doesn't roar. Sometimes it whispers in a quiet Copenhagen kitchen, in a voice that says, "You're getting better. Keep going." And for the first time in years, Anna believed it. The day she spoke freely. It happened on an ordinary afternoon, the kind of day when you expect nothing special. Anna was sitting in her favorite cafe, a small cozy place near Norrebro Lake. The smell of roasted coffee mixed with the sound of soft jazz playing in the background. She had her notebook open, writing slowly in English about the sunshine that danced on the water outside. Then, the door opened. A man walked in, tall, with messy hair and a backpack full of travel stickers. He ordered coffee in English, and the barista, struggling with the language, looked a bit lost. Anna looked up. The scene felt familiar, like the one at the bakery weeks ago. Her heart beat faster. The old fear whispered, "Don't say anything," but another voice, calmer, braver, whispered back, "You can." When he sat at the table next to hers, Anna smiled and said, "Are you visiting Denmark?" He looked up, pleasantly surprised. "Yes. First time here. It's beautiful, but the weather, wow, so cold." Anna laughed, and something magical happened. She kept talking, not just short answers, full sentences, real conversation. She told him about the best Danish pastries, the quiet charm of Copenhagen in winter, even about her little notebook and her dream of speaking English fluently. Her words flowed slowly but freely, like a river that had been waiting to move, and the man listened, not correcting her, not judging, just listening, smiling, nodding. He told her about his travels, how he learned bits of many languages by talking to strangers. "It's not about speaking perfectly," he said. "It's about connecting." Anna felt her chest tighten, not with fear, but with something tender. Connection. That's what she'd been missing all along. When he left, he said, "It was really nice talking with you, Anna. You speak beautifully." For a moment, she just sat there, the words echoing in her mind. "You speak beautifully." Not perfectly, beautifully. As she packed her notebook, her reflection in the cafe window caught her eye. This time, her eyes shone, warm, alive, filled with the light she thought she had lost. That day, Anna didn't just speak English. She spoke herself into being again. The light returns. That night, Copenhagen was wrapped in a soft fog. Streetlights glowed like little moons, and the air smelled faintly of rain and coffee. Anna walked home slowly, her heart warm, her mind clear. Every sound felt alive, the crunch of gravel under her shoes, the hum of a passing tram, the laughter of two teenagers in the distance. When she reached her apartment, she lit a candle and opened her notebook. The pages were now filled with her handwriting, pages of hope, mistakes, courage, and small victories. She ran her fingers over the words and smiled. On the last page, she wrote slowly, carefully, "Today, I spoke freely that I was not afraid. The light is back." She paused, looking at what she had written. It was simple English. Maybe only a child could write something so plain, but to her, it was poetry. Because behind every word was a heartbeat. Then, she looked out the window. The city lights shimmered on the canal, and in the glass, she saw her reflection, the same face, but the eyes were different. They glowed softly, like candlelight on water. The light in her eyes had returned. She thought about the old man at the bus stop, about his quiet wisdom. Language is not a test, it's a friend you visit. That he was right. Learning English had never been about exams or perfection. It was about learning to express, to connect, to feel alive again. About discovering that every word, no matter how simple, could heal something inside you. For so long, Anna had chased fluency. But now, she understood. What she really needed was freedom. She whispered one last time, in English, her voice calm and sure, "The light in my eyes, it's not gone. It was waiting for me all along." Outside, the fog lifted slightly. The first star appeared above the rooftops. And for the first time in years, Anna didn't feel like she was just surviving her days. She was living them, because sometimes, all it takes to find yourself again is a few simple words, spoken slowly, from the heart.